Oh, hi, it's on. How's it going? Hold on, I'm still setting up here. I guess I'm on a bit of a roll. So I usually don't get stuff out very quickly anymore. But this is just sort of a little. Whoopsie. Butterfingers. Hold on, I have to adjust. Alright, you gonna stay? Okay, thank you. Alright, this is just like a little bonus one though. So I wanted to talk about the show on HBO Watchmen that's from the Alan Moore comic, Watchmen, or it's based on it. It's a continuation of what, after the movie. And they're showing the first season on the free sample section that you can get if you have Comcast cable, which I do, obviously. And they've added apps, so now you can get online and go to YouTube, whatever, blah blah blah. But another thing they have, especially now with this COVID thing going on, there's a lot of stuff that they're being really generous about showing for free, like little bursts of free watching time. So anyway, I did have HBO, which I do off and on, but I can't maintain it because I really don't have the the money for it. I have to do a lot of, okay, I'm not going to have this for a while, so I have that so I can watch that to do this. Okay, so I had it when it very first came out, HBO, and I was able to watch up to episode 3. And it has Regina King, who I just love. Although it's really hard if you're not looking. I have picked up the remote if I was watching it and doing something, thinking, taking my attention away from the show itself for a few moments, and then I'll hear her voice start to come in, and I'll pick up the remote and what the hell is Boondocks on here for? I don't want to look at that. No offense to Boondocks, don't get me wrong. It's just my addled brain. I just didn't want to be watching Boondocks. I wanted to be watching what I thought I was watching. Okay, boomer. Maybe I'm just going senile. Oh, I have cracks on the screen of my phone, so that's why I'm messing with something, but it's not my hair, so I'm not even stoned right now. This is just natural me. Alright, so what I wanted to actually say about the Watchmen show is, the evolution of the Watchmen in this, as the series, the story goes, is that the police, to hide themselves from ambush or attack or whatever, have begun to wear masks themselves like the vigilantes do. And vigilantism is a huge part of the story. It's the main part of it. And so Regina King is a police officer, and they have some that are just uniform officers, or I guess detectives in their plain clothes or whatever. And some of them are the masked ones. I need to go and find out exactly what the heck that's all about while it's still free, and I can go check out what did I space out and miss. So where the town that the show takes place in is the same city where the current president, the number 45, had a rally after not having one for quite some time because there is sort of this unchecked, raging health emergency. It's an emergency because it isn't being addressed properly. But he decided to go have a rally, try to have a rally indoors, and I think people finally were this is really happening? It's actually not a hoax. Probably someone they know got sick or died, or someone they actually know, or they themselves work in the medical care industry. I don't know, I don't understand how you're gonna listen to somebody. I would never listen to him, by the way, and take it at all seriously, but, well, some things I take seriously. I think that he is a vindictive racist and a self-centered child, but I have those qualities too, except for the racist thing. I really, like, if I even feel anything like that happening, I, nip it in the bud, like bite my tongue, kick myself in the leg, whatever I gotta do to knock that shit off, because that's just, it's not cool, okay? So anyway, he decides to go and have a rally indoors, which is not optimal if you don't want people to get sick. And it wasn't even so crowded, and likely his staffers that ended up getting sick that were at this event probably contracted it like way before the event happened. But that's just another indicator of what's not getting done. The crucial prophylactic measures are just not happening. So it was a big deal that he was going to go there and do that for that reason. But then he decided, or he probably didn't decide, but whoever booked the thing apparently didn't know about Juneteenth, or maybe they did. I don't know. Like I said in a video that I was making earlier about something else, I tend to digress. You may have noticed in this video. But I didn't know what Juneteenth was until, and my father's side of the family, which there's my father and his three brothers, and my aunt. They all grew up in Texas. It's their deal. Like, they were in California where I was born for a while, and then, they all pretty much drifted back to Texas except me. That's a story for another time, though. But, my aunt and one of her sons were talking about Juneteenth, and it was when I was in my 20s. It was when I very had first gotten sick, and so I couldn't work, and I was staying at their house because they had an extra room, and they're my family, and that's what you do. So anyway, I was there, and my aunt and her son were having a conversation, and he was very excited about Juneteenth, and I kept hearing him say Juneteenth, and I'm like in the other room, but I was hearing them, so I finally I had to say, what is Juneteenth? It's obviously June something. It's obviously a date, but a date with significance that I didn't know. So I asked, and my aunt, she wasn't like a dick about it or anything. Like, well, you should know that. You're black. I don't even know why I started to go there, but she wasn't a dick about it. She just told me. She wasn't like, oh, you should know this, and didn't jump down my throat about it. She just told me. And so what it is, for those of you who don't know, at the end of the Civil War, Texas, I guess, was like the last people to fill in their slaves that they were free for like 2 years. Like, the South had lost the war. The Union was mending itself. There was Reconstruction. Texas is like, oh, we ain't gonna tell them. So the government, Lincoln would have been assassinated at this point, way long, really. And General Grant became president. And so he had to send the army to Texas to tell them to knock that shit off and free them people. And so after being enslaved, perhaps, I don't know why you would have to be any kind of thing but a human anything other than a human to get this. You don't have to be black to know it, or even to understand why you would be filled with jubilation to not be a slave anymore. If you look at history, it's not like their lives got significantly better, because it's just like, okay, well, now what do you do with them? They live on the property of the slaveholder. They have worked for the slaveholder. Blacks are still, free or not, most people don't want them anywhere near them or their stuff unless they're working. So, for me, that seems like kind of a conundrum, but I would still, yes, be very happy to not be enslaved. But then they became sharecroppers, which was marginally better, I guess. I mean, especially for, like, the black people. Still, today, they're hanging black people. Like, what did this person actually do to you, you racist nut? I understand Here's one of my favorite kind of little digresses, but there's a school of thought which I subscribe to that says that we're reincarnated, and we're reincarnated multiple times. People here on our planet, people, and by which I mean just beings, thinking, you know, beings, things that are above like pond slime. They might not look like we expect a person to be, but it's a consciousness and intelligence. I don't even know what all. I mean, I'm just making a wild guess, and I also have just. It just stands to reason, even if I didn't hear it from people that channel ETs, that even the ETs that I can talk to on Twitter. And you can go to Twitter and make up your own mind about the reality of that situation, but I believe it. Anyway, you don't know what the ETs are going to look like, but they're there. But yeah. Ooh, now I got all lost in that digression. I was talking about the reincarnation and why we come back and like why we're coming back here. Well, there's a lot of things. What is happening right now in a nutshell, like all of the turmoil and confusion and the fighting and the elevated emotions, that's a process that we're going through. And I said this in the other video earlier too, the civil rights era pretty much began the year I was born, so 1963, and it seems like the whole way that any rights we got, they were trying to take back. The Caucasian people, the people in power, the people with the money. The people that actually caused the problems, in my opinion. But anyway, we come back and we go through these things to heal our own past life stuff, maybe past lives from right here on this planet. We're here to work through our stuff here on this planet as a way to help work other things beyond our planet to work through their issues. And it could be ancient stuff, because 63 to 2020, that's a long time for the tide to turn. I said in the other video, it was galling enough that nothing happened when Rodney King got filmed, when those Sony camcorders first came out, and that there's been that kind of footage and telephone footage and CCTV footage and all kinds of stuff where you can, news reports where you could see the types of things that black people and people of color or minorities or drag queens or gay people or just whoever they don't like. I'm sorry, I gotta say these Caucasian people, just like these people now, there's these boogaloo boys. Like, you think you're being secret? You think, like, anybody who knows what boogaloo movie breakdancer thing is, or boogaloo shrimp or whatever that, obviously that's like a way to like make fun of black people, and especially if there's like a concentration of white people that have these ideals, if you want to call them that it's their responsibility to cause a race war so that they can exterminate us. Like, what are you mad at black people for, or minorities, or gay people, or whatever it is that you people are pissy about on whatever day it is? What did these people do to you that you feel like it's your responsibility to kill them? And what does that make you? Like, you think you're doing some kind of good? For who? You're screwing up their families, which is going to last forever. If you get caught, you're screwing up your family. You're definitely doing things with your soul that are probably not good for you and will probably take you eons to work your way through. But the way these things work is, no matter who we are and what we stand for on this world, we are a collective, whether we're aware of it or not. So anything we do, we're here meant to be doing. There's like a whole bunch of other stuff about why an individual is here and what they're doing and why they're doing it. And that's something that you can certainly look up on YouTube. I would say look up reincarnation, look up, I don't know, if you just find the woo-woo section and try entering words into the search bar. I will say enough on here, if you follow through to the end, that will allow you to, mine information from it to take and then go rock that search bar. But just, so you have a little idea of where I'm coming from, what I just said about the reincarnation. And I didn't finish my thought, I'm pretty sure, when I started to say this in another video too, but this goes right along with, have you ever heard people say when something's going crappy in their life or whatever, they just say, I didn't sign up for this? Well, in our world, you actually, I call it opposite day world since Trump's been president, because he doesn't tell the truth and he says the opposite of what the case is a lot of the time. And that's why I came up with the term opposite day world. But yeah, you're doing opposite day world. If you think, it's so funny because if you did subscribe to what I believe in, you'd understand that you wanted to come here and you wanted to go through all this really horrible seeming stuff to us on one level, but if you go deeper, you go inside, meditate, rock that search bar, information will come to you from within or without if you're open to it. And it doesn't even mean you need to be consciously open. The information that often comes from ETs, which are also the entities that we've come to worship as religious figures. Yeah, rocket search bar, look that up, because I wouldn't be saying it if I didn't get it from somewhere, and I got it from multiple somewheres online, mostly on YouTube. But it's just a good place to start, and then you will find branches to go off of from there. But yeah, you did sign up for this. It's just kind of ironic that we came back and didn't remember, and that's part of the process too, because if we remembered everything, we wouldn't be a mess. Like, going through the mess, going through the pain, going through the turmoil is part of the process of fixing what's wrong with us. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's like one of those things which doesn't make sense at the time, but then later on, when you have some time to let everything settle and get your information more coming in, more, what is the word? Arranged, just set up the way that it should be, you will begin to deconstruct what you got, and you will employ it as is needed, mentally, physically, however it works out. It's a lot. Look it up. But yeah, it's just funny to me, because yeah, you can say that all you want, but it just draws attention to me to the fact that you absolutely did sign up for that. And that kind of works for eating your feelings too. There's like a school of thought that says that there's reptilian people, and they like to dine on blood with adrenaline fear because it gets them high, I guess. And yeah, it may sound crazy, but like, people that are not reptilian visibly do that shit all the time, so why should the reptilian people that don't look like a human person, except for being humanoid, why wouldn't they do that too? They're also people. That's that thing. Doesn't matter if they look like us. Doesn't matter if we look like each other as humans. Still people, still persons, still beings. So anyway, boy, I got really off track there. But yeah, they decided, someone in Trump's campaign, I don't know if they knew it was Juneteenth. There are a couple of people that would really relish the idea of going and dumping a Trump rally in the middle of the place where in Tulsa, a whole black town was just like, the white people got mad and went and killed them because they were successful and they were black, I guess. And I just found this out recently. That I knew about. I didn't know about Juneteenth until I was like in my 20s. But I did know about that town that was called the Black Wall Street. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's Green something. But that may be from the Watchmen show. I don't know if that's actually, like, maybe it's a suburb kind of thing of Tulsa. Anyway, there are people in the 45th administration that would relish dumping a Trump rally in the middle of a Juneteenth celebration in the town that was blown up by people with problems with black people for, I'm not really sure exactly, their existence. Driving while black, walking while black, living while black. They ended up having to move it to the next day. I don't know who. Somebody was bright enough to figure out, like, yeah, that's probably a good idea. There's already unrest in the area. You can't come in and call a bunch of names if you're coming in and causing the unrest. Hello. So there's all that going on, right? And day before yesterday, actually, I guess it was probably 3-4 days ago now, but it was 1 or 2 days before Juneteenth that I decided, oh, okay, well, I have HBO again, let me go back and finish watching some Watchmen. And I'm watching it, and I recommend, just to give some weight to what I'm saying. You can think I'm crazy. I probably am a little bit. I really don't care if you think that, because it's not going to affect my life. I'm still going to be who and how I am. So do your thing, whatever you need to do. But I really would recommend going ahead and watching, for sure, episode 3. It has so much relevance to what was happening in the days leading up to Juneteenth and that rally that happened the next day, I guess, that it is just crazy. I mean, there's some stuff in there that's totally, like, not happening in our world, except for maybe in the pages of a comic book or on screen in a movie or in the show. But there's other stuff in there that smacks so much of this time, right now, what's happening. It is just insane. I'm not even going to try and tell you all of it or try to remember, because this was meant to be short and it's already 22 minutes. Let me stop talking. Go look at Watchmen on HBO, first season, episode 3. You won't have any questions about that stuff anyway, because it's, again, this is why I started doing this, actually. This is why I call it the Spirit TV Critic, is because, well, it's not critical, really, because I only talk about stuff that I like. But the spirit part is that, you know, I am driven by things that I'm not even aware of sometimes. Like, I could have watched anything. I could have watched a number of different things, but I chose to watch Watchmen. Now, that has to feel a little coincidental that I sort of got steered to that, you know? But okay, I guess I'm done. I guess I'm done blathering away for now. I have to go work on a real installment of this. But yeah, back to my roots. Talking about the spiritual aspect of what this is about that I'm trying to do here. And I appreciate anyone who takes the time to listen. And I guess I've covered all of what I wanted to say. And thank you and good night.